Rosa, Rockstar Vegan Mom, and today we are making lasagna. We are going to be making a homemade creamy Alfredo sauce. We're gonna throw in some applewood sage sausage, fresh spinach, baby portobellos, arugula, and we're also gonna be making a homemade tofu ricotta. So I've got a lot going on in the kitchen today. We're gonna get going right now. Okay, so there are many components when making a lasagna, and today we are doing a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get started on the lasagna shells first so I can multitask. So while these are cooking, I can chop vegetables, make sauce, make my ricotta. Basically just follow the directions, super easy. Big pot of water, couple tablespoons of salt, throw these in, cook them 9 to 12 minutes, and then we're gonna set them aside while we are making everything else. So go ahead and get started on this first. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my tofu ricotta. I am going to be using an extra firm block of tofu. I think it's the best kind of use for this type of cheese. So you're gonna wanna drain all of the water out of your block of tofu, and by doing that, you're going to take some paper towel and you're going to fold up your tofu, and you're gonna take a couple plates and they're gonna act as a weight basically to kind of drain the water out of the tofu. So I'm gonna take my tofu, wrap it up, 2 plates like so, and I'm gonna set it aside for 15 minutes twice. That way I'm sure all of the water is going to be out of my tofu. I'm gonna set that aside and I'm gonna start chopping all my veggies. So portion wise, you're gonna be using about 4 cups of the fresh organic spinach, 4 cups of the mushrooms, the arugula is about 1 cup, and you're gonna use all 4 of the sausage links. So the only thing you have to chop is the sausage and the mushrooms. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now and saute that up and set that aside so I can make my Alfredo sauce and my tofu ricotta. So let's go ahead and chop those ingredients right now. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and start sauteing my sausage and all my veggies. I got a medium-sized skillet, a couple tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to cook up my sausage first because that takes longer and I want it nice and golden brown as well. So I'm going to throw all of that in. Hear that sizzle? That sounds nice. Going to cook that for probably about 3 to 5 minutes. And then once that's cooked, I'm gonna throw in my mushrooms next, then my spinach and my arugula, because I just want that to sweat. All right, my sausage is looking really good. It's getting nice and golden brown, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw all my mushrooms right on in the skillet. And I'm gonna cook these for a couple minutes. And then I'm gonna go ahead and throw my spinach and my arugula in there. All right, this is cooking up really nicely. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my spinach. And my arugula. And I'm gonna throw a lid on top of that and let this sweat out a little bit. All right, this has been sweating for about 5 minutes now. This looks great, it's all cooked. I'm gonna throw some salt in there. I'm using a Pink Himalayan salt, just to taste. A little bit in there. And this is ready to go. I'm gonna set this aside so I can work on my sauce and my tofu. All right, so we're gonna get going on the Tofu Ricotta. We're gonna be using an 8-ounce container of Tofutti cream cheese. We are also going to be using the Miyoko's sun-dried tomato garlic cheese wheel, half of that. The juice of 1 lemon. We're gonna be using 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, salt, granulated garlic, and some fresh parsley. We're gonna throw all of that in the food processor. First thing, cream cheese. We're gonna go ahead and put that in first. Miyoko's is like the best cheese, in my opinion. I always have their cheese in my fridge. It's great on crackers and in my ricotta. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a nice swirl. All right, whip that up a little bit. That smells so good. I grab my tofu, which has been sitting for about a half an hour. I think I got most of the water out of it. You can tell because this towelette is damp. So I'm just gonna break up the tofu. I'm gonna throw it right on in the food processor. Just like so. And then I'm going to take some nutritional yeast and add 4 tablespoons of that. Right on in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the juice of 1 lemon. Got my nice little lemon squeezer here. That right on in. Oh, sometimes these lemons are a little tough to squeeze. And then we're going to add some garlic and some salt. All right. Now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of the granulated garlic. And we're gonna do half a teaspoon of my Himalayan salt. And we're going to whip this up. There we go. So you're gonna add about 1/4 cup of this fresh parsley. About so. Put it back in the food processor and just kind of give it one more little whip. So we've got 1/4 cup of this fresh parsley, and we're gonna go ahead and throw this in the food processor. Again, mix it around. Really quick though, you don't want to overdo it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get going on the Alfredo sauce. We're gonna use raw cashews. Quick tip, when you're buying raw cashews, it's a little bit cheaper if you buy the pieces instead of the whole ones. So just make sure that they're raw, they're unroasted and unsalted, but a little bit cheaper if you wanna buy the pieces instead of the whole. So really quick, we're gonna take 2 cups of these cashews, and usually I like to soak my cashews overnight, but we're making a quick sauce here. So I'm taking some hot water from my kettle, and I'm gonna take 2 cups of the cashew pieces, and I'm gonna soak them in the hot water for about 5 minutes so they get nice and soft. And I'm gonna let that sit while I chop up my onion and my garlic for my sauce. So let's go ahead and soak these. And we're gonna let that sit for about 5 minutes. And I'm gonna go ahead and chop my onion and my garlic. So I'm using 1 whole onion and 4 garlic cloves. And I'm gonna go ahead and chop these, and then I'm gonna saute them. And then we're gonna go ahead and blend all of these goodies together. So let's get going. Okay, so I went ahead and I chopped my onion and garlic. It doesn't really matter on the size of the pieces because I'm gonna throw it in the blender anyway. So I'm gonna just go ahead and saute this up really quick. By the time I'm done sauteing, my cashews should be ready, and I'm gonna go ahead and make the sauce. So here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna saute my onion and garlic. Pan is nice and hot, and we're just gonna cook it just for a couple minutes. And we're gonna throw it on in the blender to start my yummy Alfredo sauce. All right, guys, let's go ahead and make some Alfredo sauce. So I've got my sauteed garlic and onions. I have my 2 cups of cashews that I have drained now and rinsed. I've got vegetable broth, oat milk, nutritional yeast, and salt. We're gonna throw it all in the blender right now. So let's just go ahead and pour the garlic and onions in my blender. Then I'm gonna go ahead and throw my cashews in there. And 2 cups of vegetable broth. And 2 cups of oat milk. Nutritional yeast. And salt to taste. All right, go ahead and blend all that up. Okay, so I'm gonna start assembling my lasagna. First thing I did was preheat my oven to 375, and I have all of my ingredients right here. Alfredo sauce, lasagna noodles, my ricotta, and my sauteed veggies. So let's start building. so now that my lasagna is all assembled, I've covered it with aluminum foil. My oven is preheated to 375. I'm gonna cook it now for about 40 minutes. I like to put my lasagna also on a baking sheet because sometimes sauce likes to boil over, so it's just a little easier on the cleanup side. Okay, so my lasagna is done baking in the oven, and I'm going to take the aluminum foil off and I'm going to turn on the oven to broil, and I'm gonna bake it for another 5 minutes because I want the top to get nice and golden brown. All right, so my lasagna is done on broil. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out of the oven. This looks amazing. It is nice and golden brown on top. Woo, can't wait to eat this.